Yo, Dundunna, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy, Otis Funkmeyer, the whitest man on the internet. And I want to talk to you today about a concept that I learned from Salah. I'm still kind of in the afterglow pause of this past weekend. And one of the things that stuck with me is this concept that Salah was telling me that he calls jet lag, which I think is just genius. It's a genius name for this concept. So jet lag is, in Salah's terms, when people are not yet ready for some movement, and so they can't really appreciate it for what it is until either they see it again on video, or often until they see it way more times, or even more often until someone that they respect says that's dope. So some of the people that I have the most respect for in the entire world are Mad Chad and Tetris. And So Tanaka, what's up? And the reason for that is I just have never been able to get over the fact that those two in particular, they saw the type of movement that they liked. No one else was validating them that this is the thing that they should like, and yet they went for it. And Chad was into Andre and Flat Top, but especially Andre way before most other people were. And Tetris was into Junior Boogaloo way before most other people were. So one of my favorite human beings to kick this off is Dame Dash. So we're going to hear a little thing from Dame Dash after this intro break thing that I do when I make these videos, because this is Tick Tip Pizza. All right, so here's Dame Dash on his version of this jet lag, according to me.
And it takes a while to build a brand. It takes about 5 years to be consistent. Like my first 5 years, I'm not saying nothing different. I've been saying the same exact stuff. If you go look at backstage and any kind of argument I had, it's always been consistent. It's just people weren't ready for it. They didn't trust it. But after I've been saying it for 10 years, or 5 to 10, now it's a brand. I have a brand for it. I'm consistent. I back it up. I'm still here. I'm still up. Even when, being an independent meant looking like you was down.
All right, so you get it? Basically, what I take from that, is that when you're doing a new thing, you have to, take the lumps. To use a meta example, as I mentioned, when Salah started talking to me, he was like, we have to talk. When I saw your videos, I wanted to meet you so I could slap you, right? Now, in my mind, doing this on my own, right? Nobody vouching for me. I knew that was a risk, right? And I knew that there was a possibility that people were going to be very upset. And it's not until you do things for a while that people begin to see that your intentions are positive, right? And that maybe it's kind of a cool thing. So I talked to Salah about the possibility of stopping these videos, and he was like, no, you have to keep going. You have to keep making these videos. It was so funny that a guy who started like, I'm going to find you and slap you, was now like, you must keep making these videos. So next up in our little chain of videos that we're going to watch is when Salah was explaining this concept, he used this move that he did as the way when he first experienced jet lag from other people. So what he was telling me is that when people first saw this, 4 different things moving together simultaneously, people didn't even really trip out because they couldn't see it. They didn't get how hard it was. He got better. By the time you see this video, he's gotten better at showing people how difficult what he's doing is. But this idea that sometimes you have to show people things repeatedly, even over the course of years before they're like, oh, I get it now, is just part and parcel of being kind of like an iconoclast and of being a bit ahead of the curve. So as our journey continues, I was thinking that the reason I made this video, in fact, this should be at the beginning, but here we are, is that when I first got into popping, I saw a video of Summit 2001, and the person that stuck out to me the most was Frantic. And at the time, no one was going, oh, yo, that Frantic guy is dope, right? And then the first event I went to was Summit 2002, and again, Frantic stuck out. Not the most. Aki stuck out the most. But, and so when Salah introduced me to this concept of jet lag, that's immediately what I thought of was Frantic. Now, I went crate digging on YouTube to try to find like the oldest clip of Frantic I could find, but I wasn't able to. But I was able to find something super old, but I found something pretty old that's one of my favorite clips of Frantic still to this day. And this is at least 7 or 8 years old, and just look how much he's killing it. I mean, the dime stops, the musicality, the hit, the isolation, the waving. I mean, that right there, that... Aside from maybe the control, like the amount of muscle control, I would say everything about this clip is like to 2017 standards. Like I could see this battling Denoy 2017. And there was really a long time where Frantic was not getting a lot of love. And, the scene, much of the scene at least, was just not ready. And I'm not going to get into the politics of that. I'm just going to say that the proof is in the pudding that he was not getting the level of respect that he should have. And this jet lag concept explains it. People's eyes were trained for a very certain type of movement, and he wasn't doing it, and so people couldn't see it. And I learned a lot from this experience with Frantic, because that's one of the reasons that I would make a video like about Clarence, right? Because the experience I had with Frantic of being like, man, this guy's like so dope back in 2002, right? 15 years ago, and just seeing like, man, how come this guy isn't winning things? How come blah, 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 blah? It taught me, and now of course he does, and he is, and people really see it, and the jet lag is over. People recovered from it. It showed me, oh, okay, don't be afraid to, Otis, don't be afraid to just be like, that's dope. I don't care what anybody says, that's dope. And that really is the point of this video. That's the message and the moral of we're not done, but that's the moral of the video, is like, trust your own eyes and really pay attention, because things can creep up on you and you can really get ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. Even to, I'm just going to make a real small detour into cryptocurrency. When I first heard about Bitcoin, I'm a nerd, so I read the Bitcoin white paper, which is like the declaration of what it is. It made complete sense to me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get into this. And again, straight up, I'm not joking at all. This is going to sound kind of crazy to some people, but my experience with Frantic was one of the main things that just made me be like, I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I trust it. I trust myself, because I'm not going to get I'm not going to be a sucker again who's like, oh, really? That's not that good? Okay, I guess I just don't know, right? That's the whole motivation of this channel, and what's happening in the world is just the disruption and elimination of experts, right? Of people that like, your own eye and your own opinion doesn't matter. What some famous person or some expert says, that's what matters. I hope to inspire everyone to be, in their own very humble, very student-like way, their own expert, right? To develop the skills to be their own expert. So let's go on. The other person when Salah was talking to me that I thought of was Junior Boogaloo. So this is an old clip. This is from the Motion Sickness. Yo, let's go down memory lane for a second. When I got into popping in my generation, I'm talking J-Rock, Function, Todd, J Smooth, etc. It was VHS tape land. Like when I went to Germany and I met Poppin' Hood in 2001, he had just gotten the Motion Sickness VHS tape, and we were like, whoa! A lot of you probably are going to have to Google what VHS even is, but that's how far technology and society have come in the past 15 years, is that. So this took me a long time to be able to see, but can you, for those of you who are familiar with Tetris, I wish I had like pulled up a clip of Tetris, but I didn't. You can see the deep influence here. And you can see how a lot of these tuck concepts, right? You can picture Future doing these. Like Junior Boogaloo, Denoy, was way, I mean, he still is, frankly. But, I mean, he was so far ahead that because he wasn't doing, straight popping or something, like he's one of the precursors to all of the flexing. Because his focus not as much on hitting hard as on them, who I love. I think that's this dude Nathan, if I'm not mistaken, who was also a super dope tutter back in the day, taking some of you down, way down memory lane. Like he was super overlooked. So that was a nice little digital glitch right there. All right. So next up, what I had a conversation with Chad at Freestyle Session, aka B-Boy Summit, and we were talking about this same thing, and Chad pointed out, I'm so excited to get Chad on the podcast. He's definitely going to be one of the first people because this guy he's got it like that. So anyway, he pointed out Tiev, right? And I hadn't thought about that in a long time. And he was like, yo, Tiev was the precursor to, should I rearrange? Okay. Tiev was the precursor to a lot of the dubstep dancing and Dragon House. And my mind exploded because it was so obvious. And so Tiev is this guy that you're about to see. And we'll kind of just talk over his dancing. And this is him in 2002, right? And Tiev was definitely somebody that some people got it and some people didn't. And I would put myself more in the didn't category because I was so electric boogalooed out. But when you see these isolations and the glides and the waves, I mean, so the way he waves even reminds me of how Strobe waves and all the turfers. So, I mean, people have definitely evolved this kind of style. I'm not going to put this dancing on the same level as the top Dragon House guys today. But, I mean, you can clearly see how one thing led to the other thing. But the world it's like a combination of the world not being totally ready for something and the thing needing to be consistent, like Dame Dash said, so that it can get perfected. So see, that was, if you saw that at the end there, I think that was part of the thing with Tiev, was that there was a little bit of like, that people, it prevented people from seeing the essence of what he was doing. of just looking at how dope the dope stuff was. And that, again, that's one of the things that I really respect. I feel like this is such a weird, like, Chad video, but that's really one of the things that I respect about Chad is the ability to pluck good things and take what's correct about something and just, like, not pay much attention to what could be better. So after that conversation with Chad, I started thinking about making this video, and I reached out to two of the homies. One is Akiko, who is Function's wife. What's up, Akiko? I think this is the first Akiko shout out on the Tick Tick Pop arena. And I asked her if there's anybody that I told her about the Jetlag thing and asked her, and she said Angel. And I thought, that's a good one. That's a good one. So here's Angel. Now, I think in terms of Angel and Jetlag, it's sort of like people are having difficulty taking in just how dope Angel is. The dance of Angel, to me, may be the person... Slim. Anyway, you can make a case that Angel is bringing the most modern 2017 feel to poppin'. You can make a strong case for Slim too, but you know, look at that. Like, even that, right? That's that kind of bone breaking thing. Slim's not doing that, right? And you can't really deny anything about what she's doing, in my opinion. And the dance ability is really high, and that is why that's where the Jetlag comes in. Is like, yeah, Angel's dope, cool, but maybe Angel's like more dope than people are realizing. I love that. You know, one of the things I like about this video is I feel like this is a really good one for people leaving comments, both agreeing and disagreeing with the things I'm saying, but also maybe pointing out some other dancers that they think, or even artists. It doesn't even have to be dancers, to be honest with you, because I'm real curious about staying at the forefront, bro. In an era of exponential technological change, staying at the forefront, I can't even put words. There are no words to describe how valuable it is to be way, 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 way at the front. So then I reached out to the homie DJ Renegade, who I didn't get to meet. There's like some force field blocking us from actually meeting each other at the moment. But when we do, there will be a podcast and it will be amazing. And I pretty much guarantee that. So I asked him and he said, Dokyun. So let's check out Dokyun. And he said, it's just too subtle for some people. And again, like Angel, I don't think anybody's going to argue about Dokyun being dope. But it's like, are people seeing just how dope this guy is and just how potentially far ahead he is of people? So, all right, I'm gonna throw some more shots because Jawan pointed out that he liked that. So I'm gonna tell Poppin' John that quite a few people that I talked to were saying that Poppin' John is just like moves and it's like old and they're over it. So I'm a big fan of Poppin' John, and I'm especially a big fan of Poppin' John as a person. So I'm not super in that camp, but the reason I bring it up with Dokyun is Dokyun to me is kind of in a similar direction of control to Poppin' John, but it's definitely a lot less moves oriented and a lot more freestyle. So I point that out in case Poppin' John sees this at some point, and you know, he can do with that whatever he wants. That was sick, by the way. This like deserves a commentary, which this is not, but like that isolation on these kind of liquid waves that he's doing. I think one of the things that's crazy about Dokyeon is it's pretty flawless. Like that, look at that wave right there. There's really no awkwardness. There's really no resets. He also kind of reminds me of a male Kumse, who's Slim's partner. So like, yeah, this level of subtlety, you can be like, oh, that's dope. But the question is, are you really seeing just how dope it is? That's the Kevy Kev question of the day. Are you seeing just how dope it is? Damn. This video had, if I had to do it over again, the only thing I would do is like hide the next clip better, because it's like, oh, you kind of know. So anyway, to finish it off, to me personally, after hearing Akiko and Renegade say their opinions, it made me think Blueprint. I think Blueprint, no matter how famous he is and how this and how that, he's still slept on, especially in the popping community. This dude is so dope. And when I see this is popping to me. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is some other thing. No, this is popping. Saw some little Clarence in there. I didn't see before this the influence on Clarence, Blueprint's influence on Clarence. I didn't see it. There's an interesting way that Blueprint has a dance ability similarity to Angel and a subtlety similarity to Dokyeon. And that's why I thought of it. Wow. Bra. Ay. I see some Poppin' Todd and that little dime stop right there. Right, and now you see the Tiev, right? The modernization of what Tiev was doing. So here's the deal. That's a great way to kind of go out on this video. The thing with Jetlag is the person that you are appreciating that other people may not have the total ability to appreciate. They may have flaws, right? There may be things about them that are the reason other people are kind of like, that's cool, I guess. But if you can take the good parts and leave alone the parts that maybe aren't as good, you can get ahead of the curve, and then you can have people going like this for you. And on that note, I think that's a good way to finish up our concept from Salah of Jetlag. Salah and the concept of Jetlag, presented to you by OTZ Funk Mizzle. I'm out. Peace.